Hi, my name's Alex. I'm going to speak with the Supreme Court judge to find out more about this court.
Now, I understand you have some questions for me about how the Supreme Court works.
Yes, Madam Justice. I guess my first question is, what type of cases does your court hear?
It hears both civil and criminal cases, as well as some appeals from the Provincial Court. Usually, trials in the Supreme Court take longer before coming to trial and last many more days than trials in the Provincial Court.
How do you know which court hears a certain type of case?
That's determined by government legislation. The court must have the jurisdiction or the right to hear the case.
I guess the Supreme Court is a pretty important court, right? Can another court change or overturn a decision or order of a Supreme Court judge?
Another good question. Supreme Court orders can't be altered by the Provincial Court. Only the Court of Appeal for BC or the Supreme Court of Canada can modify or overturn decisions of the Supreme Court judges.
And how many judges work in the Supreme Court of BC?
The Supreme Court Act specifies that there will be 86 judges. There's always a number of supernumerary or half-time judges as well. Now, these Supreme Court judges sit in 8 judicial districts. While the judges may work in a court near their home, they are also required to travel to other districts throughout the year to hear cases. You'll also find that there are Supreme Court masters who deal primarily with pretrial matters in chambers.
When a judge is making their decision, what type of things do they have to think about first?
Oh, there's some crucial things they must consider. Judges look at statute law, the rules of court, regulations, and case law when deciding a case.
Can you explain that a bit more for me, please, Madam Justice?
Of course. The rules of court govern the conduct of the case from filing the initial court documents to the conclusion of the case. For example, the order in which evidence is presented is a rule of court. Regulations set out practical information and procedures in relation to statute law. For example, fees payable for filing documents to get a case started will be stated in the regulations. Also, in order for the law to be applied consistently to everyone, it's very important that judges and masters follow the law as set out in previously decided cases.
Oh, I know about that. It's called following precedent.
Exactly.
So I've heard that people can represent themselves in court instead of having a lawyer. Can you do that in Supreme Court?
Yes, it's happening more often, but there's a lot you have to know. If you want to represent yourself, it's a good idea to talk to the BC Supreme Court Self-Help Information Centre in Vancouver, so they can help you understand the things you need to know.
Is it harder for you if a person doesn't use a lawyer for their divorce or trial?
Sometimes. There are a lot of rules regarding evidence and procedure, and most people don't know them very well. Because lawyers are familiar with the process, having one can help the trial go more smoothly.